Unfortunately, that's the story of revenge. Revenge is messy. It never works out the way you want it to.
Why the need for so much gruesome, graphic violence? Why not let us imagine
Because
a
it's
little
so
of it?
much fun, Jan. Get it?
This interviewer was angry with Quentin Tarantino for encouraging 12-year-olds to see the R-rated film Kill Bill. At the London premiere for the film, Tarantino said this: "If you are a 12-year-old girl or boy, you must go and see Kill Bill, and you will have a damn good time. Boys will have a great time, girls will have a dose of girl power. If you are a cool parent out there, go take your kid to the movie." But is Tarantino right? Should kids enjoy violent movies, or could the violence harm their developing minds? Should we do more to censor graphic content on television? To better understand these issues, let's first look at the history of film censorship. People have been concerned about violence in films for over a century. A 1927 resolution by the Motion Picture Producers and Distributors of America created a codified list of do's and don'ts for movies. Some of the content they forbade are still commonly censored today, such as profanity, nudity, and the use of firearms. The values of the 1920s influenced what was prohibited. Movies were forbidden from showing interracial relationships, ridicule of the clergy, and even lustful kissing. In response to a fiasco involving the British-produced picture Blow Up, the lengthy and arbitrary list was shortened to 11 tenets. Despite this, it would later be scrapped in favor of the Motion Picture Association film rating system in 1968, which remains in use today. Labeling movies based on content, rather than banning films, allows filmmakers to exercise greater creative freedom. But should responsible parents take their children to see R-rated movies, as Quentin Tarantino suggests? Violence has been used in stories for millennia, but only with the invention of film were people able to actually witness acts of violence. The new medium increased viewer immersion for better and for worse. Some believe that violence in the media is not related to real-world violence. While it may be difficult to prove a direct correlation, a large body of research suggests that violent media can make people think and act more aggressively. According to a poll by the Kaiser Foundation, a large majority of parents say they are very concerned about the amount of sex and violence their children are exposed to on TV. Anyone who has watched a toddler for long knows that they will try to imitate anything they see. While adults can distinguish cartoon violence from real-world violence, young children cannot. Exposing them to violence, even fantasy violence in cartoons, is questionable. Some experts recommend that young children never be shown content in which violence is used successfully for conflict resolution. Obviously, most people are not going to become crazed axe murderers after watching a horror movie. However, society must work to accommodate the most vulnerable and easily influenced people, such as children and those suffering with mental illnesses. Stories can affect how we act in our day-to-day life, so it is important that we craft our media responsibly. More peaceful stories could lead to a more peaceful future. Critics and censors must understand that not all depictions of violence are glorifying violence. An anti-war film may contain graphic violence while remaining critical of it. Movies by Quentin Tarantino, such as Django Unchained, can glorify and condemn violence at the same time. The audience witnesses the brutal treatment of slaves, which portrays the brutality of the era accurately. The brutal violence causes the viewer to hate or fear the antagonists, while empathizing with the protagonists. Later, the audience should feel cathartic excitement as the antagonists who have killed so many are killed themselves. If these scenes cut away without showing us graphic imagery, viewers would not feel as much shock and investment. According to a 2011 Gallup poll, 68% of Americans falsely believe that society is becoming more dangerous. There has actually been a steep decline in violent crime since the 90s. Despite the violent material on TV, we live in the safest period in human history. The 24/7 news cycle may be more responsible for this mass fear than violence in film and television. The dramatic enhancement violence provides to our storytelling may compensate for the potential negative influences on society. So go ahead and watch Tarantino movies, guilt-free.
Bye, Miss Laura.